After days of unrest in Nepal, Kathmandu is finally bracing for a new chapter in its tumultuous political history as former Chief Justice Sushila Karki was sworn in as Nepal's interim Prime Minister. A staunch anti-corruption advocate and a key figure for the Gen Z movement, Karki's rise to power comes after the ousting of KP Sharma Oli's regime. Supported by the president and major political factions, she becomes Nepal's first female Prime Minister. However, the political shift has come at a high human cost, with many lives lost. A power struggle between various stakeholders continues, and restoring law and order remains her first priority. Karki, who described herself in a recent media interview as a friend of India, has pursued her post-graduation from the Banaras Hindu University in Uttar Pradesh's Varanasi. It was during her stay at the BHU that she also met with her life partner, Durga Prasad Subedi. India, of course, has welcomed this formation of the interim government in Nepal, led by Sushila Karki, as Prime Minister Modi extended his congratulations to Ms. Karki on her new role. He also called it a new beginning for the Himalayan nation and a strong example of women's empowerment.
हिमालय की गोद में बसा नेपाल भारत का एक मित्र है, करीबी दोस्त है। हम साझा इतिहास से जुड़े हैं, आस्था से जुड़े हैं, साथ मिलकर आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। मैं आज नेपाल में अंतरिम सरकार की प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में पदभार संभालने पर 140 करोड़ भारतवासियों की तरफ से श्रीमती सुशीला जी को हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं। मुझे विश्वास है कि वे नेपाल में शांति, स्थिरता और समृद्धि का मार्ग प्रशस्त करेगी। नेपाल की पहली महिला प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में सुशीला जी का आना महिला सशक्तिकरण का वह बहुत उत्तम उदाहरण है। मैं आज नेपाल में ऐसे हर एक व्यक्ति की सराहना करूंगा जिसने ऐसे अस्थिरता भरे माहौल में भी लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों को सर्वोपरि रखा।
CNN News 18 has been reporting since the protests in fact broke out in Nepal since day one, and in fact our correspondent Siddhant Mishra is on ground and he sent us reports on what the mood and the sentiment has been like now that Sushila Karki has taken over as the new Prime Minister of this interim government.
We are reporting from top of the footover bridge in Maitigarh area of Kathmandu. And you can see the normalcy has restored in Kathmandu. We could see buses, four-wheelers, two-wheelers on the roads. Perhaps this is the place which was targeted by the rioters on the second day of the protest. In fact, every second building on this lane was ransacked, was targeted, was set ablaze. There is this Ministry of Health office, traffic headquarters, Singha Darbar, Supreme Court. This lane, on both sides of this lane, there used to be the government buildings, and all those buildings were targeted. But now the cleaning work, the restoration work has begun. The JCB machines are working all across Kathmandu. The debris is being cleaned. The Wi-Fi services will start soon in some areas. The Wi-Fi cables were also targeted. The electricity restoration, etc. All those works are being done. This used to be Ministry of Health's office in Kathmandu, and in fact you can see this office was also targeted and ransacked by the rioters the other day. The vehicles which were parked here were torched, were set ablaze by the rioters. Now this building is completely destroyed. And like this, there are many buildings in this particular lane where I'm reporting from, which were targeted by the rioters on the second day of the protest. Now the challenge for the new interim Prime Minister would also be to rebuild Kathmandu, to rebuild Nepal, as many buildings like Ministry of Health, where I am reporting from, has completely been destroyed. So the government staff, the government officials don't have offices to sit. So it's definitely going to be very challenging for the new Prime Minister to rebuild Kathmandu, to restore buildings, to rebuild the government buildings, and perhaps it's going to come at a huge cost.
So there are a host of challenges awaiting Sushila Karki as far as Nepal is concerned, and CNN News 18 is the only Indian channel to speak with the former Chief Justice of Nepal and now Nepal's interim Prime Minister. Listen in to this exclusive conversation with CNN News 18's Anand Narasimhan.
Congratulations on that, but it's a tough ask. Nepal right now does not have any government. There could be the threat of anarchy. You're somebody who's also long led the fight against corruption. So what will be your immediate focus, ma'am?
Immediate focus is, first of all, the boys and girls who died in the movement. We have to do something for their sympathy, and we have to also do sympathy to. We have to show also cool their parents who are very much. They are in misery on the demise of their children. And next thing, there are so many their demand. One demand is successful, Prime Minister have resigned. That was the first demand of those people. And the next is they want to remove the corruption from the country. And there are other things, many things, but that can be, the other demand can be successful only in that position when there will be set up the government.
You have also passed many verdicts. I was just going back, and you've been very strong, vocal against acts of corruption. Now, do you believe, was that the biggest demand of the Gen Z? What have they requested you to do?
No, they have only asked me. I have not finally talked with them. Yesterday they requested me, not only requested, but what happened that among them they voted in their association. Those girls and boys and the students, they voted on the name of the persons whom they wanted to. And they are saying that I got maximum vote. So they requested me, and they said, ma'am, you can't say that, no. Anyway, we have to be successful after your help. So on that, when they requested me, I accepted that one.
Now, amid the unrest in the Himalayan nation in the week gone by, the question that still remains unanswered is, why does India need a stable Nepal? Harsh V Pant, who's the author and in fact a VP at ORF, breaks it down for us. Let's listen in as we spoke on the podcast here on World 360. Where does this leave India as a beacon of democracy with so much turmoil in our neighborhood?
I think in some ways this is the moment which also exemplifies why India remains stable. I mean, this is something that India, just by being India, also underscores to the rest of the world that look, there is a lot of targeting of India, from the West, that you are not, you do this, you do that. But India never claimed to be a perfect democracy. Despite those limitations, if you see the faith in the political process in India, if you see the faith that people have in maybe even in the current government, for example, if you look at the ratings of Prime Minister Modi, compared to any other leader anywhere in the world, it's remarkable that in his 11th or 12th year in office, he has very, very high approval ratings. Now, in a sense, that demonstrates the connect perhaps that people have with the government of the day. a large part of India's population. So in a sense, I think just by being India, that we may not be perfect, but we are trying to do our best given the circumstances at our disposal. That makes us an exemplar, which is quite unique in the rest of the world. Because of course, you're on the other side, you have China, right? They have a different model of. No one is when you have these protests and in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka, in Nepal now. No one is taking their cue from China in a sense that, look, we want to go China's way. They want more democracy, better political systems, better political management.
So how do you look at this kind of upheaval impacting India's own economic interests in Nepal?
I think this is, very, very serious, obviously, for obvious reasons. And a stable periphery for India is the most important ingredient in India's own economic transformation. So as we witness greater instability in the neighborhood, that should be a cause for concern, and I'm sure it is a cause for concern. In Nepal, amongst our neighbors is also very, very special, right? When you say roti beti ka rishta, it has a certain connotation.
It's also part of our neighborhood first policy.
So it is strikingly different. There is the open border with Nepal means that it is almost one seamless entity, and that has created problems in the past, but that also generates opportunity. So when you have a challenge like this, where there is a void in Nepal, it means that a lot of changes, a lot of policy regimes that you have put in place also become redundant. So now it is India's responsibility to ensure that the border remains peaceful, because on the other side you don't have any interlocutor. On the other side you only have you have army, and you have army which is very, very busy doing internal consolidation. So I think in a way it raises the bar for India along the border, but also in terms of how you deal with a lot of the movement that will happen between the borders. It's an open border. People will come now because of the challenge that they are facing. And then, of course, how do you deal if tomorrow you have a political leader from Nepal who wants to come to India at this point in time, like we have Sheikh Hasina?